Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, jctickets.net, Geico Insurance, Dunaway Furniture, Ocean City Golf Club, RussellStreetReport.com, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Holiday Inn Express, BuyAToyota.com, your official site for Toyota deals. The original Green Turtle, hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
And welcome into the original Green Turtles Ravens Wrap Show right here on Comcast Beach TV, and now this season also on TV on 47 ABC WNDT. Also on the radio, back for a 7th year, the strongest signal Ravens affiliate on the peninsula, Delmarva's Rock Radio 93.5 The Beach. We are broadcasting from the Ravens Room at the Blue Ox Bar and Grill, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City with Ravens Roost 44. Give yourselves a hand. Welcome into week number 12 of the NFL, and for your 6-4 Baltimore Ravens. Coming up, we'll recap the Ravens' win a few Sundays ago over the Tennessee Titans, 21-7. Talk news and notes. We'll recap the first half of the season, well, the first 10 weeks of the season, a little over half this season. We'll also talk the AFC North, which is very interesting. And we'll look ahead at the Ravens' schedule, the 6 games left that they have, and preview the upcoming game Monday night on the road in New Orleans as they take on the Saints. Kickoff at 8:30 at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Network pregame at 8 o'clock on 93.5 The Beach. Don't forget, on TV, we air on ABC 47 Saturday nights at 7:30 before the college game of the week. Sundays at noon on Comcast Beach TV. Thursday through game day at all different times. Lots of great opportunities to catch us at different segments of the show as well. And, of course, our radio show every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock here on the beach. Now, we will be off next week because of the Thanksgiving holiday, so in advance, we want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I know there's a lot to be thankful for, and we thank Ravens Roost 44 and all the fans that come out.
Thank
the
you,
original Green Turtle, all our sponsors, which I'm about to go through for making this show possible. Of course, the original Green Turtle, the Blue Ox Bar and Grill, our friends at Bud Light, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Geico, RussellStreetReport.com, Ocean City Golf Club, although it's a little cold now, I think, jctickets.net, the Holiday Inn Express in Northside at Ocean City, right next door, which has a great view for the Winter Festive Lights, which starts up tomorrow on Thursday. Also, Donaway Furniture and BuyAToyota.com. Don't forget to like us, Ravens Wrap at the Blue Ox, online at ravenswrap.com. I'm Mike Bradley from 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore, and locally mornings 5 to 9 with Jake Smith, Mike and Jake in the morning on 92.7 WGND. To my left, back for I think your third time this season, Spencer Tillis. He is the sports director at ABC 47 WNBT. Spencer, welcome back.
Appreciate it, guys. Really excited to be here.
Maybe you should be hosting the show when you're on this week. And to his left, back once again, love having him, former host of the Stallion Sports Show, current host of the Resort Golf Guide, among many golf shows in the Mid-Atlantic, and big Ravens fan, Bobby Vermillion. Welcome back.
Thanks, Mike. Good to be back.
There is so much to get to with the Ravens, with looking ahead. We'll do our best to get it all in here in the 4 segments that we have. But just quickly, do want to recap the win over the Titans 21-7. And just a quick encapsulation of that. After falling behind 7-0 in the first quarter to the Titans, who were coming off a bye, the Ravens rebounded to win 21-7 in that game. And the defense was unbelievable after the first couple of possessions. They limited the Titans to 8 punts and an interception on their final 9 possessions of the game. And get this, Tennessee produced just 45 yards in the second half, and until the Titans' final possession of the game, the Ravens held them to 7 3-and-outs and 1 4-and-out over almost 3 quarters since the end of the first. It's in the record books for the Ravens in terms of limited yardage for another team like that. Unbelievable. And Bobby, it was a little touch and go from the beginning because Tennessee drove the ball down the field. Then Haloti Ngata got the strip fumble, but you're wondering what's going on here. Then the Ravens end up punting it back after getting on offense, bad field position. They punt it back to Tennessee. Tennessee drives down the field, a little touchdown pass at 7-0, and we're scratching our heads like, guys, what's going on here?
Well, you know, that game was kind of a storyline of the Ravens season so far. It was kind of like a Clint Eastwood movie, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It kind of went the other way. But it was amazing because, you know, if you look at that game, you saw a Ravens team that could play outstanding football, run the ball. You saw Joe be effective, and you saw a great defensive performance on that side of the ball. But then early in the game, you're sitting there and you're going, gosh, you know, this team's coming off a bye. You know, we're at home. We should be trying to, you know, be a little bit more dominant against the Titans early in the game. We want to get them out of the game early because we don't want to let them to feel like they have a chance. Unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. And when you look at the season so far, Mike, it's kind of been the same way. We've seen the Ravens look awfully good. You look at the performance in Tampa Bay, how well they played there, and then you flip it around and see how bad we played in Pittsburgh. So this team still, as we go into, we're in our 10th game right now, going into 11, we still really don't know what we have as a football team. We're a good football team. Are we a great football team? Not yet.
And Spencer, the Titans came into the game, I believe, at 2-7 or 3-6 in the game. And we've seen the Ravens against Carolina, against Tampa Bay, against Atlanta. The Atlanta game was at home, Tampa was on the road. But we've seen them against some inferior teams take care of business. And we're wondering, hey, here, you're going into the bye week. It's Tennessee. How is it that we're getting off to such a slow start?
You know, that's so tough to answer. It looks like consistency has been the one question mark for them. Week to week, almost sometimes drive to drive, and the game kind of exemplified that. They started off so slow. But you're right. And the funny thing is, we said that we talked about how strong they finished the game defensively. And the fact to say it's historic and goes down, the fact for Baltimore, I mean, a program that has made their name defensively, speaks volumes about that. And I think you're right, Bobby. They're a good team right now. There's still some question marks, still some things that they need to kind of figure out. Part of me says maybe they were just overlooking them and they were a little bit in cruise control to start out the game, but I think they definitely have that potential maybe to take to the next level.
Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think you're right. I mean, they definitely have, I think, the potential in that team to be a complete football team. Obviously, you know, since we've done our last show, we lost Jimmy Smith. That's a big loss for us moving forward, you know, and that's going to be a big factor. The secondary was a question mark before we lost Jimmy Smith. Now that he's gone, you know, as we start to play the Drew Brees and the Phillip Rivers, what's going to happen in the next couple of games? How well does this defense play against, you know, really, really good quarterbacks? Because so far, against some of the better quarterbacks, we've struggled a little bit.
Now, John Harbaugh did say coming into that game that here you've got a team in the Ravens that are going into the bye. Tennessee was coming off a bye, so that kind of mixture can spell disaster because you've got a team looking ahead to taking off, another team that's well rested, that's had time to game plan, to figure out what they do well and don't do well, and also figure out how to attack the Ravens with that extra bye week. And I think that probably showed a little bit too, initially, at least in the first quarter.
Yeah, you're probably right. They looked like they might have been looking ahead a little bit, and it's hard to say, I guess, go against that with the fact of who they were playing. I mean, it wasn't the most quality team in the league right now, but you still got to get the job done. But they did do it, so, I mean, to their credit. Yeah.
I mean, Bobby, at the end of the day, a win's a win. And we talked about Carolina, Tampa Bay, Atlanta. They took care of business against poor teams. Tennessee, under a new head coach in Ken Wisenhunt, they're not giving up on him. Those guys are paid to play too. They have pride, and so they brought it. But again, you take a look at the defense after that first quarter. They did a phenomenal job, and luckily for our secondary, as you talked about, depleted. Jimmy Smith's out for the year. Lardarius Webb is still not 100%. We re-signed Danny Gore from a few years ago. Fortunately, that wasn't a potent Tennessee passing game with rookie Zach Mettenberger out of LSU that we had to face a couple of Sundays ago.
Yeah, you just mentioned it's a rookie quarterback at home. You expect the defense to play well. Now, as well as they played, I think we were all a little bit surprised in the second half. But we talked about this several times this year, Mike. We know that our back end is a little suspect. So in order for our back end to play well, we have to get pressure on the quarterback. And you certainly saw that this past 2 weeks ago with Doomerville and Suggs, getting pressure on the rookie quarterback, making him make mistakes, making him uncomfortable. You know, on the road in a loud stadium, it was a recipe for disaster for Tennessee. And, you know, if you look at Tennessee and Tampa Bay, yeah, they're bad football teams on paper. But I'll tell you what, you look at Tampa Bay, look what they did to the Redskins. We know the Redskins aren't a great team. But they also beat the Steelers.
Don't tell JJ.
They also beat the Steelers at home. And then, you know, Tennessee gave a great fight against the Steelers on Thursday night. So you never know. They're NFL teams, and you never know what can happen.
Right. And Spencer, that's the thing. That's why it's such a week-to-week league, because someone would say, well, wait a minute, Tennessee, you know, they're done. Their season's over with. What are they fighting for? And yet at home against the Steelers, I know it's Monday night, but still that doesn't mean a team can't play a bad game. And yet they had the lead against the Steelers, who are now 7-4. Hey, again, a win, no matter what, but it's such a week-to-week league.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that actually speaks a little bit to the secondary right now for the Ravens. They played really well in that game. And you look at Mettenberger, he actually did not have a bad game, I thought, this last week. He started off phenomenal for that team. And the Ravens were able to keep him in lock pretty well throughout the entire game. So I think you look at that and the fact that, you know, they're working a couple pieces back in. Obviously, a huge loss there in the secondary as well. But maybe things are starting to get a little bit better there as the season progressed.
the Ravens with 5 sacks on Mettenberger, and Elvis Dumerville, who has 10.5 on the year, had 2.5 in that game. Terrell Suggs has 1.5. In fact, he's a half a sack away from getting to 100. We could talk about that coming up. But the pass rush was very effective. And again, we've seen that our front seven against lesser offensive lines have been able to get that kind of pressure. When you combine that with being able to stop the run, you got a pretty good formula for giving your offense a chance to win the game.
You do, and one of the things we've talked about, Bruce always talks about that, this one when he's here, is that this team seems to play well against teams that we're really not sure are that good. But it's like a golfer playing well on the regular tour events. But how well are you going to play in the majors? And so far in our division, we haven't played as well as we'd liked. Although I think most Ravens fans would agree to this point. If we'd have stole one of those games either in Pittsburgh or against Cincinnati, I think we'd feel a lot better about the season at 7-3. So, at 6-4, not in first place right now. We get one of those games which easily could have went the Ravens' way. You feel a lot better about a 7-3 football team. Yeah,
I don't think there's any question about it. You also take a look at, and we knew Tennessee coming in was a team that loved the blitz a lot, very aggressive, much like Pittsburgh was on that Sunday night game. But you look at the balance, despite the fact that we had trouble rushing the football, especially early on in that game. Still, at the end of the day, balance-wise, 34 runs to 27 passes. I think that's the exact kind of balance that the Ravens wanted to get back to this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and it's shown throughout this entire season. I feel like they've been very balanced. And you're right, they wanted to get back to that because they started relying on Flacco too much the last couple of years, and now getting that running game going again, and the fact that the defense is getting closer to being one of those good defenses in the league. I mean, the team looks like they have an opportunity to close out the season that they want to right now, and with the way the division is right now, they definitely can make a run at it.
Yeah, Justin Forsett, Offensive Player of the Week. He's a guy that played well, and how big of a pickup was that for the Ravens? Not knowing the Ray Rice situation, how that was going to turn out. Ozzie goes out, and he's a Kubiak guy. He picks up Forsett. And this guy has just fit this offense so well. Taliaferro has been a good sign for the Ravens, a guy that's a rookie this year. And then Bernard Pierce, I think we all would agree that he's been a little bit of a disappointment so far. Injuries, he's been known to get banged up over the few years he's been here. But really, Justin Forsett has been a difference maker on that offense. And we've talked about this many times, Mike. If you protect Flacco a little bit and you get the running game going, he can be effective. You cannot put the game on his shoulders. He's not Peyton Manning. He's not Tom Brady. And, they're even Drew Brees, who we're going to talk about in just a few minutes. He's a guy that's they're trying to run the football a little bit more this year.
Well, it's a great start to recapping the first half of the season. We'll do that more coming up. It's a Ravens Wrap Show, Comcast Beach TV, 47 ABC and 93.5 The Beach. We're back next. Keep it here.
In April 1959, Art Wall won the Masters, edging out Carey Middlecoff and Arnold Palmer by finishing birdie, 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 par birdie. 1 month later, Ocean City Golf Club celebrated the opening of their first 18 holes. That course has been transformed now into one of the most scenic golf layouts on the East Coast. Come experience 36 of the most beautiful and challenging holes you'll find anywhere. Ocean City Golf Club in Ocean City, Maryland.
Like 33rd Street was to Colt fans, Russell Street will become legendary for future generations of Raven fans. Not only is Russell Street the team's address on Sunday, it's now home to the website voted Baltimore's best 5 years in a row. You've known them as Ravens247.com for years, and now you'll love them as RussellStreetReport.com for many more. There's nothing else like it for Baltimore football fans. Trust me, RussellStreetReport.com. Baltimore's home for football 24/7.
Welcome to the Comfort Inn Gold Coast. Conveniently located just 1 block from the beach and adjacent to shopping at the Gold Coast Mall and the movie theater. Newly renovated and open year-round with a marvelous bayfront view. Visit us on the web at comfortgoldcoast.com and see our hot deals and great golf packages, or simply call our direct reservation line to plan your stay.